Right, sweet. We're testing a new setup tonight. We'll just adjust this audio here. All right, yeah, so as you can see, we're testing a new setup tonight. I've got a nice camera in the office now. Significant upgrade from what I had before, so quite excited about that. And I also noticed, well, I've got good microphones. How I was running into my stream before didn't sound as awesome as this sounds, so huge upgrade. To be a short one tonight, I'm quite tired, honestly. But yeah, we're just gonna get set up here. I guess we'll kick off the kick as well. I think for our next chat integration, I'm going to consider maybe Rumble. We'll see if they have a live chat API. I'm kind of positioned off the side here to my computer, it's just a wee bit annoying, but let's just see. So Rumble does have an API for, it might be API, like a RESTful API, yeah it is. Alright, that's going to be similar to how I implemented YouTube, which isn't ideal if you ask me. Twitch should already be active, and Twitch will really get to see the camera changes here. I'm quite happy with it. Let's see. It's pretty cool. So as usual, I'm streaming to you from Florida. It's currently 1:50 AM. This is the latest I've been up in like a week. Usually I'm quite a night owl. Last night after work pretty quickly. But the bright side is all of that is I've been getting up and coding early in the morning, so that's a good change there. Like I said though, we're going to be looking at another chat integration. I think Rumble might be one we'll do. And the funny thing is, coding all these chat integrations have not been that fruitful as far as actually bringing people on to the streams, but it's good fun, so we'll keep up with it. Let's take a quick look at a local, just see the state it's in. I think tonight we'll maybe consider moving the rest of the text-to-speech logic out. So as you know, everybody gets an avatar, everybody gets a unique voice, TTS voice, and that's kind of the whole point of this. And second to all that is, of course, this is how I share my camera on my desktop into the stream here. Essentially, I just have OBS doing a screen capture on a web page, and the web page is this. So it's pretty cool. Using WebRTC is how I was able to implement media sharing and all that stuff. One of the cool things that's a little bit different than like the default YouTube setup, especially for portrait streams, is if you run it off your phone, like you can't bring in additional camera angles, you can't do any of that nonsense. So that's the whole point of this, is to make it really easy. Switch over here and just get started. So we've mostly broken up the giant React class that was like the app.js. It was created before React's functional components were released. Actually, let's just verify that. I might be talking about ours. Oh, talking about ours there. Alright. Well, anyway, we moved over to majority of functional components in the React side. There's hundreds of components that compose this user interface. And then we have one canvas tag. That's where you see the avatars, the tiles, and the items rendered into. And it's essentially like I've created an isometric renderer. There's definitely some things I'm going to do in the future to improve it. We're going to move over to, or create an additional render layer in Free.js. That way we can explore VR a little bit. And as usual, it'll all be live chat driven. Just so you folks know that are listening, if you chat into the system here, you get an avatar on screen. This is what I'm coding. I sit here every night and develop this live. Let me go ahead and activate the YouTube chat. So for me to make this live, all I have to do is come in my system here, click start. That's it, we're up. I'll go ahead and just post some commands in the YouTube chat so you guys know what it is. I think we're getting to the point where we'll be circling back and like essentially creating new commands. Most of the recent commands that I've added have all been from feedback from people in live chat. Right, we'll pin that message. Do you have stream material for your stream? So Nate, I don't know if you're still listening on Kick, but if you could clarify what you mean about that. The whole point of this is I just sit here and like code this system. We do have a Kick integration. I'm not running that in production right now. All right. You can also just look at some of the unstaged changes here. Let's get an idea what should be going up. Some small format changes. So let's just get this out here. Should put that as well. We did a ton of features that just ended up buried in the background. That's how it happens. We start to release a forgot password flow. Most people that interact with this whole thing I've coded use live chat anyway, so they're not coming in through the apps or the sites, but I've noticed an uptick recently. I don't know if someone posted it somewhere, but I had a handful of people on today that found it somehow. Let's go in here, just formatting. We're going to take a look as well at media soup as far as just improving the stability of the WebRTC implementation. Let's take a deeper look into that. So essentially WebRTC is already built into the browser, right? It's a peer-to-peer media streaming. What does that mean? It means you can share a media source. In the web browser, you can capture a screen, you capture a webcam, a capture card, microphones, and text. Now, let's see what media soup would add for us. I'm not too sure. Maybe it gives us more control of our codecs. Brief introduction to media soup. So an SFU, a selective forwarding unit, receives audio and video streams from endpoints and relays them to everyone else. So essentially we'd be standing up like a peer, but it would be a server. So possibly that, one of the negatives of doing peer streaming is your device that's streaming, say like I take my iPhone and I stream, I'd be streaming 4K from the iPhone. Every single connection that's made to the iPhone essentially needs an additional 4K stream replicated. And you can imagine how much data that costs in processing. So I did try implementing my own mesh relay. I did get it working, but we didn't get it connected to the code base. So we're still experimenting here. Just a reminder, YouTube folks, live chat drives this. We talk about code in this channel, all that good stuff. Too many applications. It does look like we have to run this in Node.js. I'm just wondering like what sort of resources are required. And while I don't use AI, especially on streaming and coding, not a vibe coder, I've been coding since I was a child. It is very helpful with helping to understand new libraries and platforms. So we might take a look there. I actually integrated AI as avatars like 2 or 3 years ago. We have a translate avatar. That's an additional thing on the to-do list, is wire that up so live chat's automatically translated. Let's take a bloody look at is there any media suit demos? Take a look at some of the code here. Look into some of this, have a quick look. Looks like this is possibly React, let's see. Look at that. I wonder how they're doing a blur effect. They're doing that WebGL. Is it possible? It's probably a server side. Even these examples, my implementation here is it's a lot more built out, if you ask me. Yeah, I've been working with sockets and WebSockets for close to 2 decades, at least for sockets, but I wouldn't recommend trying to implement a media streaming platform on top of WebSockets. I did try that before I figured out WebRTC though. Yeah, see, someone right here said, you know I use WebSockets for that. Let's check out LiveKit, see what's going on with that. Must have different products to offer, because that's not what I'm looking for. God, AI is contaminating everything. You know, it's actually kind of remarkable how few developers actually leverage WebRTC. Take a look on YouTube, search WebRTC. The most viewed videos I've seen were like Google Talks from like 2017, which is when I believe that it was released into the browsers at large. Since then it's matured quite a bit. It's available on every single bloody browser out there, tested it in, that's for sure. And even works in it like web views when embedded either on Android or Switch UI on iOS. And I'm starting to think I broke YouTube. I did a WebRTC demo at a concert. It was like a Nirvana tribute band, and I muted it like 99% of it, but I got content ID'd. And ever since then, it's just been shite. Firebase RTC, so Google offers something here. Let's see what they have going on. Essentially what I've implemented here is like a OBS studio, but on a web page. It's funny, like half of these services I've like implemented into Kynto already. Should post my project in Y Combinator. Bloody hell, this guy's got attention just for doing a peer-to-peer file share. It's the biggest problem I notice in a lot of developers, but I think I'm a little bit extreme in it, that you build like intense stuff but have a hard time communicating it, like what the hell I'm actually building. That's why I started streaming development. Someone's dancing. I'll probably process that from my chat message that I posted. It makes sense. Oh well.
One new subscriber.
It's bloody loud. I have to kick that down a bit. Oh. I'm curious how long the battery will last on this Panasonic G9 that I picked up. I'll be taking a stab at doing some long form videos, because got a ton of examples of people like heavily interacting with the avatar system. There was a couple of times where people were chatting using the TTS, And I mean, I just shut up and started like coding what I was working on because they were having a good old lever about JavaScript, which is kind of the goal here, build something that kind of drives itself, right? Let's put the battery level on this thing up. I have a power cut coming tomorrow, so we'll be able to run it for as long as needed. Worst case, we could just switch over to the webcams. The webcams aren't that bad, but the micro four thirds system has a lot more going on with it. Just looks better. We want it covered. It's always a good idea to add more settings and toggles. Have a nice clean system to do that. We can do sliders, text input, select. I like these Boolean toggles. And, it's completely dynamic. I don't have to wire up any server-side code, WebSocket end. I don't have to code new UI. I just literally invoke that component, specify the setting name, and then we literally have another toggle.
Janarid56 says all TASNA.
Welcome. I don't know what that means. One of the things I do need to figure out is this is like a bit buggy. What's going on there? So you got mic gain programmed, that's pretty cool. So even though I got punished on YouTube, it was still worth getting that feature done. I also noticed that peer-to-peer chat is duplicating. So we might have to take a look at that. Let's see that. It's still not working, still not working. I did optimize the peer-to-peer connections, but in the process, like I revealed that there was double connections occurring. And it's just kind of painful to work through, I'll be honest. We have the face mask feature, which uses TensorFlow.js, which is lets you run ML in the browser. That's what the whole point of like what I'm doing here is to leverage the browser as far as possible. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the Mozilla web docs here. Picture-in-picture API, I never even heard of that. What playback API is it to like implement like Chromecast functionality? We might have to do this. We might have to do that. Oh wow. We get this for free? Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to be implementing remote playback. Picture-in-picture API would allow us to do a floating window. a web page. I wonder if that's supported on mobile. I doubt it. It is on Android Chrome. What about iOS as well? Alright. I bet you that's just limited to media sources, essentially videos. If I could do a canvas tag, that'd be good. Screen Wake API, that's always good. Streams API, Summarizer API, what's going on in there? Browser's internal AI model. Yes, this is what I want to leverage. If we're going to do any AI stuff here, we're going to do it in the browser, meaning not having to make a web request and depend on a server. This is nuts. Okay, let's see. I should be able to just run this in our console here. Oh, interesting. I recommend any developer, especially people getting into coding and web dev, take a look at just the APIs that are built into the browser. Because, like I said, I have 20 years of experience here. That means crap all, because there's just so much being added all the time. What sort of stuff we can pull from the USB API? Stuff like gamepads. So we have WebRTC. Translator APIs. We're going to have to do a deep dig and just see what what models for ML are like pre-populated into most of these browsers. That's a whole rabbit hole that I would like to go down. What's APIs? Let's go ahead and stop sharing my body microphone over here. It's like beeping all the time. Okay. Essentially to track performance of your application. I'm using a lot of these APIs as is, really are. Why don't we have a look? Fuck's sake, quit it. Oh, it's Houdini APIs? Wow. I was not aware of this. Essentially, we can implement our own CSS rendering stuff or override it using JavaScript. Interesting. I was looking for something here. Oh, that's right. We're going to look at remote playback API. We're going to wire that up to our video elements. How do we get a list of available devices? Like if you're on a network with a Chromecast, how do you get that list? Okay, so it's just built into the system. All right, let's have. There's no way it's that simple. Every video element just has remote property built into it. I might have to verify this off screen here because this too good to be true. Might be able to get this up pretty quickly. It's currently 2:22 AM. I'm streaming from Florida tonight. Yeah, so every video element literally has a remote property built into it. Let's have a look. Let me remember here, I think it's participant. Let's wire up a button. My screen is super zoomed in, so this could actually be seen at least a little bit on YouTube. So it's kind of a pain in the arse to work with, but we'll get through it. Yeah. We'll come down, we'll just go up to the top and add a button real quick. A function called remote play. not localized any of this yet. Because we're probably using icons. Let's see, what icon can we use? We'll use that. FA share alt square. Alright, let's wire up a function for toggle remote play. Okay, so we want to grab our video. We should have a ref up here somewhere. Yes, we do. Okay. So this is a promise. Alright, let's just see if this does anything real quick. So I'll have to share a virtual webcam over here. Let's see. Let's rebuild our local real quick for our phaser, so we stop getting that annoying alert. That a second to build, and then we're going to test out the remote play functionality for videos. Cheers for that subscription on YouTube, that helps us out. You can make sure you like and subscribe. As you can tell, this is a tiny channel, but if you interact with the system, you really become part of the stream. It's a wee bit different than most. Come on, you were supposed to go away. Alright, there's our button, let's see what it does. Prompt was dismissed, not allowed, error. Why not allowed? Does it only work on not local? The hell? Security's pretty tight on this. Let's see if this gets us through. Nope. Passing in video is a pop-up, dude. Is that the issue here? Let's see why. And now we have to figure out which one of these is the one we want. It's not the audio track. It's not the mask. It should be this guy. This is confusing. How did I do this? Alright, we might have to move our logic out here to grabbing the ref. Are we grabbing current? I'm gonna have to make the screen smaller so I can actually process this with my bloody mind. Okay, so we are pulling that. Should be doing it. But we'll move it out here just for a quick test. Let's go ahead and do that. Might be some weirdness passing a ref.current as a property. Worried on the ants, man, they're relentless. I finally got some ant bait in today. Bloody sugar ants here bite you. You put down a Red Bull, they'll swarm it. Okay. Grab this. Let me move this up one level. Should be here. Okay, that's imported actually. Let's try that again. We'll have two buttons here. It could just be an issue running this without a SSL server. Technically I'm running a invalid one because it's localhost, but usually we get what we need. We get secure WebSockets, we get everything that I need, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, is it going to do something? No. What in the heck? Okay, I think I see. Same issue, so it's not. Oh, what the hell? Might be because it's a WebRTC stream. That's problematic. That's not supported. Okay, I get it. Yeah, so this might be another reason to utilize MediaSoup, but essentially WebRTC, when you transmit video, you get a media stream. If you want to do remote play, you have to provide essentially a web URL, like the Chromecast device or whatever have you, like Apple Play or whatever, just loads that web URL. There is no web URL when it comes to a WebRTC stream. So that's our situation here. Damn. That would be crazy. But I do have it set up so we can encode to a HLS stream. I could set that up in Nginx. But then we have to figure out how to get WebRTC to stream to that. If we could do that, then we could push streams directly from the browser to YouTube without using a server or OBS screen capture. So this might lead to some interesting things happening. Axel Omar, hello. I think I recognize your name. Welcome back, if that's the case. Cheers for the additional subscriber. Let's go ahead and update our sub count now. You'll see that the stats on the screen are actually, they're all stream driven. The whole point of this is to build something that's controlled entirely by live chat and engagement. So we'll update our counter here.
1 new subscriber.
Update our active viewers, and we'll update our likes. And you can see 4 chats that came into the system. Pretty quiet tonight, but it's okay. I did piss off YouTube, like quite badly. How do we get WebRTC become HLS in the browser? I really don't want to push it to the server if we can avoid it. Like, the whole point is to not do that. Like, the server what I push it to is YouTube or Kick or Twitch. It's not my server. Like, you think with like EM scripting and that, like, there should be ways around this. I was just not fast enough. Node WebRTC, I've not explored that. That might allow us to do something, but once again, we're going to have to leverage another container. But in situations like this, I find it's better just to get some code up, get the feature coded and working, and then we can come back and find better ways to implement it. Like, if I try and wait for everything to be perfect, we're just not going to write any code. And that's been a big change that I basically experienced in like the last 5 years or so, when I decided that I'm okay writing shite code if it gets stuff working. Oh yeah, I'm excited to look at this project, this package. It hasn't been updated in ages. Take a look at the examples. I do love when I see event bus has been utilized as my language. But how do you create your server? How do you create the WebRTC peer on the server for the client to connect to? Because technically it's the client or the peer that's streaming the video or the audio that makes the call to the other peer. It's like the inverse of how you think it would be set up. And then the client peer accepts that call, and then the sender peer can transmit after that fact. We need to know how to actually connect to it. The example must be buried in this create example. This is what I'm talking about with the broadcaster and the call. Let's take a look at create example. I think this is a little bit more interesting to me than media soup. Let's see though. Let's ask the AI what it thinks. We could completely bypass the need for OBS to do a screen capture to get my whole WebRTC system up here that's already handling cameras, desktop share. We'd literally have OBS Studio, but like in browser, which I think would be fucking phenomenal. But it is looking like we're going to have to fire up a microservice in order to, like, FMPEG or something like that to get this up working. Here we go. Media soup streamer. Modified for VR chat screen sharing. So leave it to the games really push like, innovation. It goes all the way back to like Habitat for the Commodore 64. It's the first graphical MMO, at least the first large one. And out of that, I think you got a lot. And, continues to this day. GStreamer. That's what I'm talking about though, you're never going to stop learning. And I often tell new developers that come in, when we do have people interact with me on chat, you know, getting into coding can be very demotivating, because it does have like a large, like I physically describe it as a hump. I try and make it clear to people that that doesn't disappear for experienced developers. You just learn to trust yourself that you're able to figure it out. Like you basically have to have confidence. And I think AI today, well, it's incredibly helpful for developers that know what the hell they're doing. It kind of amplifies like what you're already capable of doing. I think it's a wee bit damaging to folks getting into coding that see like vibe coding as a way to actually like create or architect systems. It's like you actually know what how to formulate a prompt with the right technologies, with the right technical questions you want to solve. It's way more powerful than if you just say like, hey, code me a Netflix browse page or something. It's like, you want to know what sort of technology is required to even put some of that together. If I was going to code like a Netflix browse page, we would do it peer-to-peer and utilize local storage and other ways to get access to large amounts of storage on the computer via the browser. And I think like a LimeWire, but like that exists in a browser tab. That's the sort of approach I'd take to something like that. Like, don't just do what someone else has already done. If you have an opportunity to push it around a wee bit, you should take it. GStreamer is a library for construction graphs and media handling components. Gonna test some heavy stuff here. I think I'm gonna start shutting this stream down, guys. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you can, just like this. Appreciate the like on YouTube. Helps us out. Whenever I update the title on YouTube, it throws off the algorithm. Just a tip for anyone that streams or wants to stream. YouTube kind of figures out an audience for you based on a title and description combination. If you change that too much, like I did tonight, like it kind of resets that and then tries it against a new audience and see who engages. Like it's just a matter of time till it clicks again. But essentially, you have to do some very quiet streams while it figures it out. As for Twitch and Kick, there's no algorithmic, there's no discovery in algorithm. It's all based on what you have going already. But still stream up there, why not? Yeah, camera's on this last bat. Alright guys, shutting this down. As you're going to see, I control OBS directly from my browser, the system I coded here. Might just disconnect. So open this up right here. These are all the integrations I have coded. Like we got Twitch, which is currently live. We got YouTube, which is currently live. I think if I click get subscribers, it'll update. It'll at least tell us if we've got a new one.
1 new subscriber.
Let's update our viewer count. Banging 4. Absolutely brilliant. We have Discord. Which is active now. And we have Kick here, but I only run that in local because it requires Puppeteer, and I am not sending that out with my production container. That's just too much. We still have our TTS manager to come back and look at. I was hoping to do that tonight, but I got carried away with a little bit of research. And then we have OBS. So OBS used to have a plugin called OBS WebSockets. You could connect to it and essentially call commands. They ended up integrating that into OBS proper. So WebSocket support's built right in. You just click Tools, and then one of the options is WebSocket Server. You click that, and then you can enable it and set a password. And then you can essentially connect to that IP address. Like here, if I click Fetch State, you'll see that it says we're recording and that we're streaming. You'll also see all my scene options. So if you're watching on like Twitch, check this out. Well, I don't want to show that. Yeah, see that? I can control that from the browser. You won't see that on YouTube, guys. We have two separate streams going out, one horizontal, one portrait. But I can switch between everything. That's my code environment. Which one is it supposed to be on? Not that. Yeah. So you get the idea. Pretty powerful. I'll probably build this out more before I end up fully replacing the need for OBS completely. But as you can see, I've already got it. So our video, our screen share, our audio, already handled by me. The last thing we have to do is just take this, essentially do a screen capture right here on this entire window, and then transmit that and basically convert that into an RTMP stream, which they can then push out to all the live streaming services, and then that gets rid of OBS completely. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go shut this down now. I should get some sleep. Cheers, guys. So when I click this, I click stop on the YouTube integration. You're gonna see some avatars disappear, the ones that are not logged in directly to the web app or logged into the native application. Check this. One disappeared. Very busy night. Then we go up here. Stop the recording first. You can see that D highlights, and I click stop streaming.